I mean, the title says it all for me, you know. After watching so many of these movies, of these direct-to-video Steven Seagal movies, it makes me want to be driven to kill. You know, probably just driven to kill everything in my room, probably. Probably want to break all the crap in my room. Yeah, it's driven me to kill. Kill my freaking room. I mean, I can just wreck shit apart and all this stuff, right? But no, I'm not driven to kill anybody. That's just going too far. We know that, though. But it's just a joke, though. I'm trying to have some fun here at my own rage. Yeah, but as I'm Driven to Kill from 2009. And this is the same guy, Jeff F. King, who directed Kill Switch. Another very shitty one that I just reviewed recently. So many things. Okay. Well, I know that. Well, so many things. I know the film is shit anyway, but that's the obvious thing. But Steven Seagal trying to do a Russian accent, which I don't buy at all. Okay, I don't buy him with a Russian accent. That's number one. Like in Kill Switch, he had like that Southern Cajun accent he had there. I don't buy that either. Although I do bought that the Brooklyn accent he had from Out for Justice. I bought that. You know, if anybody's seen Richie, I want to know which did Bobby LeBeau. You know, I bought that kind of Brooklyn accent he had. I bought that. Here, I don't buy him with a Russian accent. I don't. Plus, it's very silly to hear him talk with an accent like that. It was silly. And especially also with more bad ADR, that's not his voice either. That even made it more silly with a Russian accent. Man. But Driven to Kill. And this has a 5 point something in IMDb. That is too high for this. People like this one. I mean, yeah, it's not high ranking though, but it's above like several other ones. But I'm like, 5 point something. Some people like this one. I mean, yeah, to each their own, you know. I mean, it's your opinion though, but I just don't get it. Why some people think this is better than some of his recent ones. One of his better ones. I don't buy that. Urban Justice is his best one. I like Pistol Whipped. I like Into the Sun. But that's like 1% of the films of the 100 direct-to-video films he's done. That's been absolute shit. 99% has all been nothing but shit. And this adds further into it, you know. Although I will save Jeff F. King, like he did Kill Switch. They did so much bad, poor editing, too much quick cuts, and more like mid cutouts, and just a guy been kicked through the window and he's been shot like freaking cut like 6-7 times, you know. So it wasn't that. I don't think that wasn't overall bad as it was in this film, but still. Okay, the story is Steven Seagal. He's a former Russian enforcer who worked for the Russian mob, right? And he becomes a novelist, which that's the thing. I know that's another thing I don't buy. I don't buy him as a novelist. I don't buy him like that either. Oh, he's a Seagal being an author, writing books. Yeah, maybe better writing fortune cookies. You know, because stuff him all because he likes his cookies. Better writing fortune cookies maybe. But yeah, his ex-wife is with this Russian guy who's a dick. I think he's head of the Russian mob, I think it was. And his daughter is marrying to the son of this Russian mob leader. And really enough, the fiance, the son of this the father of this Russian son, right? The head of the Russian mob, right? Whose son is getting married to Steven Seagal's daughter. That guy, he was that Russian soldier from Indiana Jones, the King of the Crystal Skull. He was the main Russian soldier who was fighting with Harrison Ford. And remember he got he was him on that rocket in the beginning, and then ended up getting consumed by the ants. Yeah, that was that guy, that Russian soldier, Igor. His name's not on here though, but it was Igor something. yeah, so that Russian soldier from Indiana Jones from the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he's in this as the Russian mob leader whose son is marrying Steven Seagal's daughter in this. I'm like, that guy from the soldier from Indiana Jones 4? Wow. His death in Indiana Jones 4 being just consumed by the ants, it was all going in his mouth. That was just creepy as hell, you know. I like Indiana Jones 4. I think it's underrated. People don't like that movie, to each their own. I know, the whole alien and the whole nuke the fridge. I've seen... all those scenes in that Indiana Jones 4 is nothing compared to all the dumb shit I've seen in any of these Steven Seagal films. Not even close. All the dumb shit I've seen in any of these movies, those so-called ridiculous scenes from that movie are masterpieces compared to any of these stupidity stuff, ridiculous things I've seen in these movies. And I shit you not. You don't believe me? Watch. I've been reviewing all these direct-to-video Steven Seagal films. Don't believe me? We see all the silly shit in these movies. Don't believe me. You tell me that these are far more ridiculous than all that the people complain about in Indiana Jones 4. All right, that's off topic. Moving on, but so, and even that guy is an asshole to the Steven Seagal's ex-wife. So they're getting married, and then one thing leads to another. That the daughter gets kidnapped, and his ex-wife gets killed, and another one of the bad guys, which I did recognize. He was in one of the episodes of the X-Files. It was in one of the X-Files episode. It was called Pusher. I do remember because I love the X-Files, and he was a guy named Pusher, you know, and he was like I think it was like pushing women to kill themselves. I forget though, but it was like he was trying to do it to Scully, and Mulder had to rescue her. But I'm like, oh yeah, that guy from the X-Files. Yeah, okay. And he's also one of the bad guys. So, and he also receives this tiny gun that which he uses later. And it's him, and it's him and his daughter's fiance. They're on the mission to rescue his daughter. And although the funny thing is, though, the bad guys, they think that Steven Seagal, he's a cop, but he's not. And with Steven Seagal, like I said, he's not a cop, though, but yet he's, like, giving orders like he is, like, a high-ranking officer, but he's not, though. And I'm like, you're not a cop, though, so, well, maybe because he's Steven Seagal, so he's the god. He gives any orders, you follow them, right? And even the bad guys, they think he's a cop, because they receive a text, they get a text like, oh, this cop's coming, right? And they buy that he's a cop. Even though Steven Seagal says, I'm not a cop. And the one thing leads to another, that the fiance, he kills a guy, which he's never killed before, though, because even though he's a son of a Russian mobster, he doesn't want to be part of that life. He wants to live a normal life, right? And when he killed someone, it kind of like affected him because he's never killed anyone before. You know, he never wanted to, but he had to, though. And then when they go to the strip club, we have a very serious talk, you know, about him killing people, you know, how it's hard to. Mr. Seagal's telling him it's hard to kill people, you know, and they're having a serious talk in front of this strip club where, you know, a woman, you know, strip teasing, right? I'm like, this is a lot of times when Steven Seagal, he's always like to be around, like, people, women showing their tits to him, everybody. I mean, that happens a lot. I mean, I know the whole thing with the whole allegations that, you know, with the stuff, what he does with the women, all that stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wasn't there, so. But it seems to be very apparent in these movies, though, where he has to be around women that flashes their tits around him, you know. Very apparent. So, but I would know, but I don't know about the real life stuff, though, because I wasn't there. So, and he gets more into fight, and there was one scene where he takes a glass to a guy's head and just like goes like. I didn't mind that, though. Okay. But although the same guy who directed Kill Switch, it kind of lacked the brutality in this movie because Kill Switch, at least it showed me. I saw glimpses of that old Steven Seagal where he went so brutal on bad guys. You know, like with the one killer, he beat the crap out of him with a hammer, or with the guy that was the teeth kind of like the curb stomp type of way, but using his fist instead of his feet against a table. That kind of saw me a glimpse of that old Steven Seagal where he was so brutal to the bad guys back in his old days. And I just keep saying time and time again, you know. And speaking of the old Seagal, like, there was even a scene where he gets in a gunfight with a guy and who has a shotgun, right? And he takes it, flips it, and shoots the guy right back. And when he takes the shotgun, flips it, right? And the funny thing is, though, that happened. I remember that happened in one of the past direct-to-video ones I reviewed, though. That's still seeing that whole part there is still a hell of a lot better on when I saw that on Deadly Ground. When he did the same thing to Arlie Ermy, may rest in peace, Arlie Ermy. You know, rest in peace. When he took to Arlie, that's right, make your move. Stick the shotgun so far up your ass and blow the top of your fucking head off. And then Steven Seagal just goes and takes it, flips the shotgun, and blows a big hole in Arlie Ermy. You know, real and also good practical blood squib too. You know, that part there is still a hell lot better than what I've seen when he did that in these movies. Still better than Deadly Ground. And Steven Seagal, he directed that movie. And also one thing is apparently those movies he did from back then were wide shots. Recently I've been seeing all these up close shots of Steven Seagal's face because when it comes to body doubles, when he doesn't show his face, you have to show his face to indicate that he's doing those scenes, right? But it's just showing those up close of his face, you know, especially when there was like when the fiance is like asking what happened, where did he go, you know, and we see this is slowly showing up close of his face, of Steven Seagal's face, you know. I'm like, can you please just scoot the camera back up, you know? Even just like, first it was the bad, poorly, quick editing, and now from this director in Kill Switch, now he wants us to just keep on showing up close of his face, you know. Jeez. Ease up on the camera, back the camera up, get more wide shots of the action stuff, right? But on Deadly Ground, Steven Seagal directed that movie, and he did all those with wide shots. He knew what he was doing for an action film. I give him credit, though. Yes, leave out the whole environment thing out of the movie, but as an action film, I enjoy On Deadly Ground. Good Bad Guy by Michael Caine, Arlie Ermy, young Billy Bob Thornton, John C. McGinley, you know. But I just keep saying it time and time again. I'm probably gonna keep on saying it when I review all these movies. You know how much I enjoyed his golden movies. You know, from Above the Law, Under Siege 2, Out for Justice, Marked for Death, Hard to Kill, The Glimmer Man, Fire Down Below. It's not that bad at all, and I even like Exit Wounds. Just like, you know, yeah, but he's back on the close-up shots, you know. And then he does like a kick or two and a fist, and then he stabs one guy, and when he pulls the knife out, gushing of blood. Okay, some practical blood stuff, you know. And like I said, just a bad ADR. And speaking of bad ADR, which he gets to I think it was like more towards the beginning of that miss though. He gets to a taxi, right? And it's a white guy who's driving the taxi, right? White guy, but with a bad ADR. I swear they made it sound like they gave a black guy's voice. Oh, you're just being racist. No. I'm not being racist. You go watch the movie yourself and tell me if I'm right or wrong. I swear. He's in the cab with this guy who's white, but when they use the ADR dubbing, make it seem like the white guy talking with a black guy's voice. Don't believe me, just watch the movie. Okay? Maybe I'm going insane though, but that's not racist. No. I swear they use that. I am not making it up, okay? So don't go jumping on that, though. But, because you don't believe me, watch the movie yourself. Because You know how much bad ADR they put in these freaking Steven Seagal movies, okay? Don't believe me. Watch the movie for yourself. And I just don't buy Steven Seagal, even with a bad ADR Russian accent. I just don't buy him when he's talking. I don't buy him with a Russian accent at all. And so one thing was getting towards the finale, is at this hospital, and that's where the daughter's being held. And there's stuff with a couple with the grenades, and then they get one thing's nearly him and the fiance. They rescue the daughter, and then they all leave and happily ever after. Might miss the stuff, but you know what? The movie's forgettable. What else is it for me to talk about? I mean, there is a point where he goes to this pawn shop for asking about the daughter's ring, though, and gets into a fight with the shopkeeper, and... But, man, Driven to Kill. Yeah, that's what it's not only it's driven me to kill, it's driven me insane with these movies. All these bad, shitty movies has driven me insane. But it makes me want to be driven to kill too as well. Maybe I'll just take one of those up there and just like nah, but I'm just like, no. But I don't want to kill anybody. Come on. That's just a joke, you know. Because it's with these titles, you know. It's just... But like I said, bad ADR, Steven Seagal with a shitty Russian accent. Ease back on the freaking close-ups of Steven Seagal's face. And like I said, it was slow and, you know, yeah, I'd probably make it sound like it's a big rant though, but it's not as bad. Okay, yeah, it's not as bad as Why Salt. It's not as bad as Today You Die or Attack Force or Submerged or Out of Reach. It's not as bad as those movies. It's not as bad as, yeah, especially not as bad as Attack Force. Pff, fuck that. Or Today You Die. It's not as bad as some of the previous ones, I'll give, okay? But, and I don't think there wasn't that much bad, poorly edited shots like this director did in Kill Switch. But, yeah, Steven Seagal, just like, he's... there was one thing another bad thing which kind of sums this whole thing up, right? Because the daughter was showing Steven Seagal, Steven Seagal wanted to show, like, do with this trick with this spike, right, I think it was, right? And when he does it, and he says, which, not his voice, but ADR saying the trick is not to give a fuck. That sums it up right there. And when he says that, when it's being said and not in Steven Seagal's voice by a dubbing, that just kind of sums it up for Steven Seagal like he does for most of these movies. He doesn't give a fuck. That line of dialogue, which is not his voice, bad dubbing, says the trick is not to give a fuck. That kind of sums up for Steven Seagal. You know, he doesn't give a fuck about these movies. He's only doing it just for the freaking paycheck. That's all he does. That's all he gives a shit about. But yeah, Driven to Kill. I mean, what else? The cast. I mean, the fiance, the guy who wants to marry the daughter, or doesn't want to be part of the Russian mob, wants to live a straight life. He's okay at best. The guy Igor from Indiana Jones 4, the Russian soldier from Indiana Jones 4. He was there. I'd rather watch him in Indiana Jones 4 fighting Harrison Ford and getting consumed by the ants. Rather watch that instead. Yeah, so that's Driven to Kill. Another very bad. I don't see why some people think this is some of those better movies, direct-to-video movies. I don't get it. I don't understand why. And some of the music they play in this movie is crappy as well. So yeah, just that's what I think about it. So that's Driven to Kill. I'm done now. Another shitty one in the shitter. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next movie review and more back on the next more episode reviews as well and more other stuff. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Later.